Hey, everybody, welcome to the Rochester Real Estate Show. Jason Mancuso here with the Anthony Butera team, as always, joined today by Danielle Carnes.
Hello.
Danielle is a new agent,
Yes.
new to the team. We have a mentor program for agents that are new to the business or inexperienced. Ultimately, the goal is that we're out there helping the people we know, helping the clients that we're servicing at the highest level possible. And for new agents coming in fresh,
Yes.
you really need something to guide you along the way and make sure that you're protecting, both your clients' interests and yourself as a business owner as well.
Yes, I agree.
So welcome, Danielle.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thanks for
doing
having
this with
me.
us. We were talking and thought it would be a great topic to touch on new agent type stuff, in the sense that, like, you have to go through this licensing process
Yep.
to get a real estate
Oh
license,
boy,
to
yeah.
be a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, 75 hours worth of coursework.
77.
That's right. That's true. 77 hours worth of
Sorry to
coursework.
correct you.
You can
but
do that online. You can do it in person. You have to pass 2 tests from there. At that point, congratulations, you're eligible to become licensed, is
Yep.
the way I like to put it.
Yep.
In order to be a realtor, you have to join the local board of realtors where you live and a brokerage
Yep.
simultaneously while activating your license with the state. And now you're a realtor.
Yeah.
Now
Sure.
what, right? So the topic is, what don't they teach you in real estate school, right?
Yeah.
And I think, to dive into that, why don't we start with, like, because you're fresh off this.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think, we'll get to the response, but like it may not be, very detailed, but in terms of what do they teach you in real estate school?
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
what do you go over there? What's the requirements?
I'll be honest, it's a lot of laws, regulations and things like that. I don't feel as though it teaches you a whole lot about actually being a realtor and
Sure.
all the things that entails to have a successful business. I feel like it's just more of like the basics, really.
Yeah. Well, and so you mentioned laws.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, we're dealing with Department of State and the licensing division. Like,
Yes.
we have a license that we carry for a reason, and
Mhm.
therefore there's rules, regulations, laws, etc., to ultimately protect the consumer. That's the way it should
For
be,
sure.
right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, you go over a lot of, like, I don't know, it's boring, right?
Oh, yeah. I did it online.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, so it took me about 6 months to complete.
Yep. Because you can do it at your leisure,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, I did. And I mean, I was working a full-time job and being, a mom at the same time. So I figured, doing it online was the easiest way for me. And it was very boring. It was. I had an instructor who was reading, talking or whatever. But yeah, it's nice that I feel like it would have been better if I did go to class.
Sure.
They kind of interacted and maybe they would have taught me a little bit more experienced things that they went through.
Yep. Well, I can speak to that. So I got licensed back in 2008 to start.
Okay.
They didn't have the online option then.
Okay.
So I had to do the 2-week class in person. And yeah, sure. I mean, it's all, for most, it's always better to learn, like, physically in person,
Right.
somebody talking to you, somebody talking with you, that sort of experience, compared to just, getting through the slides type of thing online.
Yeah.
But still the same content.
Yeah,
And
it is.
I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from it, because it's important, right? Knowing agency law specifically, and how you need to conduct yourself and how you need to operate with clients that you're representing, and just the general public as well. That's important. We hold a license. You have to be doing it the right way.
Absolutely.
Right. From there, you learn different property types, stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that's not relevant to our market in Rochester, like co-ops and stuff like that in New York City. Like,
yeah, it did talk a lot about New York City too.
yeah, we don't have that here.
Yeah.
So just as anything with New York, we get the best of both worlds, rural New York country and the Big Apple. So
I feel like I want to add really quick
Yep.
is I think that the course that I took specifically was for the tests more
Yes.
than anything. That's what I feel like, and then the test, obviously,
When I'm talking with somebody new in the business or, thinking about doing this, that's how I explain it.
yeah.
It's like, hey, you're gonna embark on this journey where you have 77 hours and two tests that you have to pass.
Mhm.
Essentially, those 77 hours are meant to allow you to pass the test.
Yes, and the
And
test is hard.
yeah, and it's again, it's not that it's totally irrelevant information because it
Right.
is applicable to the industry that we operate in.
Yep.
But I guess getting to the point of the show here today is that it doesn't teach you how to be a realtor,
No,
to be a business owner.
no,
Like
no,
the
no, no.
nitty gritty of how to, go about success and for yourself and your business, but most importantly for your clients that you're representing.
Yep.
So then it's like, and I think a lot of people get into the business not knowing that,
Right.
and then, feeling lost,
Yeah. I
not really
definitely did.
knowing how to go about it from there.
Mhm.
And here you are.
Yeah. And honestly, when you get done with your school and pass your tests and all of that, I mean, with the online course, it may have been different with you going into the class, but like, you don't know even what brokerage to consider, there's so many things to consider. I mean, I chose Keller because, Kim was amazing and helpful with me getting my license. And I really liked that support. And so far it has been the same with all of you guys.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, all right, what are they not teaching? Like, let's get into some specifics to where it's like, okay, realizing quickly, like, oh, okay, this is what I need to figure out, right?
There is a lot at being a realtor, a lot. And
Yeah.
it's not just showing houses, listing houses, helping people buy houses and whatnot. Like there's a lot of paperwork and things that are behind the scenes. I think people don't realize. Those are all things you have to learn. I've had to learn to become very tech savvy, which I kind of was before, but more so now.
Sure.
Um,
Different way of going about it,
Yeah.
right? Because you're talking about contact management and then
Yeah.
like for the most part, all contracts are done electronically these days, stuff
Yep,
like that.
yep,
right?
and they don't show you how to do any of that. I mean,
Yeah.
contracts, agreements, negotiating, on both ends. I'm trying to think of what else.
So, all right, we've talked so far, or you mentioned so far, just running a business from the technology side, the organization side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You mentioned negotiation.
Yeah.
Big topic, right?
Very
I mean,
big.
ultimately, like if somebody's paying you for the service of being their realtor,
Mm-hmm.
a big part of it is, okay, they're negotiate me the best deal possible, right?
Yeah.
So that's an always evolving type of learning mentality to have. And frankly, just that, what I just mentioned, that mentality of always learning is something that really never goes away with
No,
the
you
most
have to-
successful people.
Yeah, you have to always want to learn. I mean, I feel like just in life, I learn something new every day. Well, and especially obviously in this business, but just in life in general, like you can't, I feel like you have to humble yourself and like,
I think it's a key to success, right?
Yeah.
Because without that, it's just kind of existing the same and times are changing, especially in this industry. So
Yes.
they have to, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. The market's way different.
What's been some of the biggest oh boy, those moments where it's like, oh, I gotta figure this out and I gotta figure it out quickly. And I wish I had a heads up getting into it before. What's your biggest takeaway so far being in the industry?
I think for me personally, organization,
Okay.
like that's been one of the biggest things. I'll mention like I am a business owner prior. I own a hair, I own a hair salon business. And I've done that for a long time, but it wasn't as much information, I guess.
Sure.
So, and clients and things like that, but yeah, it's organization has been the biggest, and time management.
Yep. It's fair.
Utilizing every minute of the day that I have, to do something work related.
Love that. I mean, time management, organization, similar topics,
Mhm,
right? Like the
mhm.
organization, like just, I mean, I'll try to relate to hair business.
Mhm.
Knowing that people are coming at certain times.
Yep.
I'm guessing you have a general idea of what type of haircut they want, or they
Mhm.
just tell you on the spot.
Yep.
So not a ton to track, not to
No, yeah,
belittle
no.
your business at all, right?
Especially
But
this far into it. I've been doing it a long time. In the
Right.
beginning, it was different, but
sure,
yes.
sure,
Yep.
sure. Real estate and having clients in that world, or relationships that you're pursuing to be able to help. I mean, one of the things that we really emphasize here in our training, to help our agents, to help our clients is, call it a needs analysis, right?
Mhm.
Like, the
Mhm.
first step to anything, any realtor to client relationship is that the realtor has a full understanding of the who, what, where, when, why, how
Yeah.
of that person's life, or just their goals relative to real estate, or
Yeah.
why they're moving, why they're buying, why they're selling, why they're investing.
Mhm.
Because once you know that, then you're able to really truly help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without that, you're just
Yeah.
kind of winging it, right?
I agree. Yeah.
And that can be a
Definitely.
detriment to the client.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
now you got to keep yourself organized around all of those details.
Mhm. And as you add people in, it gets, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because it's obviously you want to be, helping more than one person
Yeah. Oh,
at a
for sure.
time or in a year or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So it's like it's a lot to track.
It is. And honestly, the app has been great. The command app,
Okay.
because that I feel like I'm able to kind of, I keep all the people in there and then I can add notes and tasks and
So shout out to Keller Williams. They
yeah.
have their own proprietary technology,
Yeah.
CRM system. It's an app, it's a website, and it's exclusive to Keller Williams agents. It's included with being a partner here. And yeah, it just helps make the world go round, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I don't know how I would do it without the old fashioned like paper and pen,
Talk
papers everywhere.
right. No, I hear you. Talk to me about, so, some of the things, we always use the term like on the business versus in the business. What you just mentioned, kind of an on the business thing of keeping yourself organized, being able to follow up with people, and with the relevant information and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Talk to me about in the business stuff, like, you mentioned negotiating. We talked earlier, you mentioned, just how to price a home.
Yeah.
Right? Like so first of all, they teach you none of that real
No.
estate school.
No.
Like literally
Nothing.
not
Nothing.
even a sentence.
Not even nothing. Anything.
Good,
Nope.
good to clarify.
Yep.
So now talk a little bit about the process that you're going through and that you're committed to, sharpen your tool set around those, some of those items.
Asking lots of questions.
Love it.
Not being afraid to not know and just, like I said, humbling yourself. I feel like being a part of the team has been amazing for me because I had nobody to go to and ask those questions, which it kind of made me scared to put myself out there.
Mm.
Because I don't want to screw up anything for somebody. I mean, it's the biggest purchase of their life.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to, so I kind of like withheld from it, but now that I'm on the team, I feel like I've been actually more comfortable talking to people about things, regard to like, comparables, like finding out like what their house might be, worth, different homes in the neighborhood, and then just practicing and just doing it.
Love
Just
it.
doing it. I mean, I've even, gone in and showed a house to like a friend just to kind of practice and, um, like, I guess wording and
Yeah.
questions and,
Yeah.
I feel like the mock thing, how you like to do mock
Like
conversations.
role-playing
Yep.
type stuff. Yeah.
That's very helpful.
Yeah. And it's,
Mm-hmm.
to the consumer out there, we're in sales,
Yes.
right? Like this is a sales industry,
Yep.
but ultimately we embrace it. It's a relationship industry first.
Yes.
And when you create the ability to have people, think of you when they think about real estate or a question that they have, or, obviously buying or selling or moving,
Mhm.
that, our goal is that we have a strong enough relationship with you that you think of us and approach us when that happens.
Trust.
Exactly. So when we say like practice and like scripting, role playing, stuff like
Yep.
that, it's not like, I don't know, I picture like these, like some of like the stockbroker movies out there, right? Where
Right.
it's like you're trying to jam something
No,
out of somebody
I don't
and
mean it like
figuring
that.
out how to say, no, yeah, I don't.
I feel like it's for comfort because I feel like in order for me to be comfortable talking to somebody that I might know about something I don't necessarily know, I have to.
Well, you have to find out.
Yes,
Right, you have to
exactly.
find out what you need to know, and that's where that practice type aspect comes
Yes.
in, and making sure that you're, ultimately giving the confidence to whoever it is that you're talking to.
Yeah.
That they should be working with you, because you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
And if you're just, okay, even say, if, for example, like you learned the concept, right, like pricing a home.
Yeah.
You learned about it, but you've never physically done it,
Right.
on the MLS, going through the process.
Yeah.
And then you're in front of somebody for the first time trying to figure it out, like it's probably not gonna go too well.
No.
Right?
No, they might look at you like, I don't want you to sell my home for me.
Well, and you mentioned it, this is the biggest, so for a seller, for most people, this is the biggest financial transaction of their life.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a ton of equity at stake, and therefore it becomes important.
Very much.
Right?
Very
For
much.
buyers, same thing. It's just, you're making one of the bigger purchases, or if not the biggest purchase
Yeah.
of your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna want.
Biggest and most, I feel like longest. I mean, if you do a 30-year.
I always say this isn't a pair of shoes. It's not. This isn't a car.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
So yeah, good point. So you're gonna want. It starts with like you want to be able to trust and like the person that you're dealing with as a realtor.
Yeah.
Just from a like, I have to work with this person and
Yeah.
I want to work with them because they seem like good people type of thing.
Yeah.
But then it's the next step of, okay, I trust what you're telling me. You're confident in what you're telling me.
Yes.
You're, like, yeah, this all sounds great. I'm on board.
And I feel like, honestly, comparing, because I was an agent prior to joining the team for, like, I don't know, like 8 months before I joined Team Anthony Butera. And like I had mentioned before, like the lack of confidence kept me from going out there. But at the same time, I do feel kind of like maybe people were like, you're new to this. You don't really know what you're doing. But now I feel, because I have, you guys to help me and back me up, that they're a little bit more comfortable coming to me about things.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I'm so thankful.
I mean, because, and it's not to say this isn't like a tout to the team or anything like that. I mean, obviously, we have things in place to allow this to happen.
Yeah.
Like we
You
want.
should toot your horn,
We
Jason.
want, people like you that are committed to growing their business and helping people to achieve their, real estate dreams, right? And we understand that, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So therefore it becomes like, okay, we're gonna make you know.
Yeah.
And we're gonna make you know at a high level, because ultimately, you're out there representing that as well, and that's super important to us, obviously. So yeah, I mean, the whole practice concept, like, that's important. Practice is for practice, not
Practice
in the
makes
game.
perfect.
Like, you can't go practice on people that are interviewing you.
No.
It's not good. It's
No.
probably going to be a loss,
No,
right?
it
So
definitely
you don't want the losses out there. So
And I mean, word of mouth is huge and it travels fast. And like,
Sure.
I mean, if you have a bad rep right off the get-go of, you drop the ball, that could be, don't use that person because they don't know what the heck they're doing.
especially back to the point of, building relationships, right? Like, it's just natural that you're gonna go and try to accomplish that through people you already know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're connected, likely there's a whole web, right? And it's like, if, like you said, bad words travel fast, and now your network, you got an uphill battle to climb. That makes it that much more difficult.
For sure.
Okay. None of this is going to be taught in real estate school.
No.
You're going to get your license, and you're going to be thrown into it.
Yes. That's exactly what happened.
With the process that you've gone through so far in your career, and the reflection and the commitment at this point, like, what would you, if somebody's listening, watching this and is thinking about getting in the business, what would you tell them?
I would tell them for sure to find somewhere that is willing to help, teach, and like stand behind you. I mean, I don't want to like push everybody to join a team because it may not be for everybody, but
Sure.
that's where I feel like I've gained more confidence. Like I said, comparing both being a solo agent and being on a team, I really didn't know anything. I've learned more in a month and a half that I've been on the team than I have in a year of being an agent. So if, they have that opportunity, I would totally go for it.
Now,
for some.
what I'll add to that is, I think the difference becomes like the partnership and the accountability partnership, we call it that, right? Because it's like our organization, how we do it anyway. Like, we're not just here like, okay, Danielle, here's the stuff to read, and hopefully you read it, and hopefully you make it.
No.
Let us know what you need.
Yeah, no.
We're here to, hey,
to be proactive.
you did this, right? You're doing this, right? You're gonna be here, right? Like that sort of, that sort of partnership. It's just, I always use the analogy that's relatable to where if you're going to the gym in the morning at 6 a.m. with a partner, and they're gonna be there, and they haven't called you the night before to tell you they're not, and they're a reliable person, you're gonna not hit that snooze button at 5:30 or whatever in order to be there on time and not let that person down, just to not be a jerk about it, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Versus if you don't have a partner for that, you had a rough night of sleep or whatever.
Right, snooze.
5:30 rolls around. I don't really feel like it. I'm not letting anybody down but myself. That's a dynamic that plays out in business as well.
For sure.
And most importantly, like it is about the people we're helping, the clients themselves.
Yes.
So making sure that we're equipping everybody to do it at a high level is key. Any different aspects to where like, okay, because I asked like, all right, before you get licensed, or maybe I think you just answered, like I was gonna ask like, okay, you got your license, you're in the business, what would you do?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
What would you, looking back to where like you wish you would have known this prior to starting the process of getting your license?
What would I look back and think?
Anything you would have done differently? Anything that would have like been like, quicker to pick up on, if you had known this aspect about the business?
If I
put you on the spot.
Yeah, you are. Because if I'm being brutally honest, like I'm thankful that I did have another profession that I was making money, because it is obviously when you get into this, it's not like money.
Right.
Like a lot of people think like you're I'm gonna kill it. It's not the case. And I didn't really have that either, because I have friends who are realtors, but the way I did it, I was okay with, because it gave me an opportunity to be a solo agent, and it honestly helped me appreciate the team more. You know what I mean? If I hadn't known, I may not have like realized, so I feel like, for some though, I would definitely say to jump for a team if they have that opportunity right off the bat. And I didn't know, to be honest, that teams wanted new agents. It makes sense now because I'm a clean slate. I know nothing, so you guys can literally help mold me into what you need and want on your team. But prior to that, I had no idea. I had no idea that they wanted them. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What else? What haven't we covered?
The only thing too, I feel like you mentioned accountability. I think that has helped a lot too. Being a new agent, you don't know what is a realistic goal. Obviously everybody wants to make millions of dollars. You guys have helped kind of make that more, what's the word? Like obtainable, realistic, and not like shooting for the stars.
I think there's this social media aspect or generation, whatever you want to call it, right? And you there's seen plenty of it where you see like some some 20-year-old kid down in Miami leaning up against a Lamborghini
Yeah.
on Instagram and
Yeah,
says he's killing it in real estate, and good for him if he is,
For sure.
right? But you know, and I always say, like, hey, I'm never gonna tell anybody that you can't immediately come into this business and kill it
oh,
with,
for sure.
with the right, actions for your business, probably with the right network
Yeah.
that allows you to do so. Like, it's all possible.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit type of career here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to be able, what you're saying is to be able to, like, okay, let's set goals that we're going to go meet.
Yeah.
Is
Obtainable.
one aspect of goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
The other option would be shoot for the stars and land on the moon.
Yeah, I mean, everybody would want that.
And it just depends on what suits you better, right?
Right.
So, no, that's cool. Good. This was good.
Yeah,
This was helpful. I think this was intended for either new agents or people thinking of getting into the business.
yeah,
And also, like, the consumer side of it, I think it's important to know, what an agent should be doing.
yeah.
I'm
And
biased,
What it entails.
but yeah,
What
what
it
it
entails
entails.
behind the
And,
scenes. I think people don't realize that now. Like really what goes on behind the scenes
well, and
for us.
what I'm encouraging the consumer to do is make sure you're interviewing
Yeah.
your agent
Ask
or an
questions.
agent or multiple agents
Mm-hmm.
to see how they're handling their business.
Yeah.
Because you're a part of it, and they're gonna financially benefit from helping you with the transaction. You wanna make sure that they're sharp and able to benefit you as well as the consumer that's, using that service.
Yeah.
That's important. And I think a lot of, there's stats out there that consumers, overwhelming majority interview one agent, and that's it. And I just wonder how much there's an actual interview process there,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Versus just,
I mean, I can.
I
speak-
like you,
I can
you
speak
seem
from
cool, we have a
experience.
relationship, and let's work together, right?
When I sold my first home, it was in an area that was like just not desirable. Not in a neighborhood, but like where the house was.
Got
And I had hired 3 different agents, and like it just I didn't interview them properly, and they weren't
Just winging
suitable.
it.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah, exactly.
You were winging it, they were winging
Yeah.
it, right?
I was
So-
first time home, so I
Yeah.
didn't know. But the last agent killed it, sold it, and
Love it.
yeah,
Well, I think, and to wrap it up, message to the consumer would be, don't wing it.
no,
Make sure that you're, going about the process in a way that leaves you working with somebody that isn't winging it as well.
for
Alright.
sure.
Cool.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Danielle Carnes,
thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
Thanks for doing this. Great job.
Absolutely.
Rochester Real Estate Show. Check us out on YouTube, our website, anthonybuterrateam.com. We'll be back for more. Thanks for tuning in. As always, Jason Mancuso here.